Phil was just a meek and mild 1 minute and then outrageous the next. It was very, very funny. He was outgoing, but how would you say it?
He was outgoing but shy as
But
well.
shy at the same time, you know, and very smart kid too.
Obviously he was the youngest, you know, with the two older sisters, so, you know, he learnt how to become outgoing and loud so he could be noticed. So yeah, he was becoming, you know, an independent adult, you know, on his way to, you know, planning holidays, and, you know, he'd always say, you know, he wanted to go to, you know, overseas trips and things like that.
Once the girls done an April Fool's joke on him. He had a little lizard in an ice cream container. What they did for a joke was put chickpeas in the sand and said it laid eggs. And he went for like 5 hours believing that this little lizard had laid eggs.
Our family took April Fool's Day very seriously, and so we would always be trying to think of, you know, ways to trick each other, or we were always, you know, joking or, you know, picking on each other, and like we were just always together, the three of us.
Well, Phil was a machinist, and you know, he was very, very cluey, very smart for a young bloke. Like, we were only through our 3rd year of our apprenticeship, and he was very, very hands-on. Always had an idea, a suggestion. Friday we used to knock off work early. Probably spend a few hours here on Friday, then Saturday, and the amount of times we pulled the wheels off Phil's car, put new ones on.
There weren't many Blue Dattos around, really.
It wasn't hard to, if you seen his car on the road, you knew it was him.
Yeah.
It was just being 17-year-olds was the funnest part of probably our life so far, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, you know, Phil didn't even get to see his 18th birthday.
You should tell them about how every night he'd want you to tuck him in.
Oh, tuck him in, yeah. Every night, so from an infant till he was 17. Oh, that sounds weird. Tucking in your 17-year-old kid, but I used to go take him to his bedroom. He'll say to me, "Dad, I'm in bed. Come and talk to me. I've got to talk to you about something." Yeah? And just talk for 10 minutes before go to bed, and I'd tuck him in, and in summer I'd tuck him in really tight with all the blankets on. He'd get really angry, and then in winter I'd just put the sheet on him too, and he would. But every day we've done the same thing. Every day.
That one choice or decision that was made on the road that night, it's just completely changed everything, and if something different might have happened that night, Philip could still be here with us. So it was a Friday night, and Philip had gone out as usual with his group of friends. I think there was a half a dozen of them, and they were just travelling around. They went to Penrith and McDonald's. I think they were just making plans along the way.
That Friday night I had worked late, I was working part-time, and I came home and I was in bed and I could hear like people talking. I could hear my dad talking to someone. And I went out to the lounge room and I could see Dad talking to the police officers.
I'd already gone to bed, and my daughter Grace came into my room and told me that there was a police officer in the lounge room. I really was quite bewildered as to why would there be the police, and sat down, and he did say that Philip had been involved in a crash, and that stage nothing really clicked. I thought, well, yeah, what are you going to tell us? Nothing, the worst still hadn't sprung to mind, and he said that Philip had been involved in a crash, and he didn't survive.
And I just remember, like, as he was talking, like waiting for him to say, but he's okay. You can go visit him at the hospital. But he didn't.
Well, I didn't actually go out that night with him. I was asleep in bed, and then I got a call. And then someone goes, "Oh, I think Phil scratched his car," you know, and we just thought it was a scratch. We didn't think anything of it. And then someone else rang and said, "Oh, yeah, he crashed his car." As soon as I got that call, I don't know, I couldn't go back to sleep, and I said, "I've got to go out, you know, I've got to go see."
All I remember from the accident was just waking up in hospital. I remember immediately asking for Phil, where Phil was. I did know something was up, I just didn't know what was up.
Yeah, you see a sheet over your best mate's car, it's not real pleasant, so.
Our oldest daughter, Lauren, she was overseas. She'd been married for a year, so they were on a holiday, so we had to contact her and break the news to her.
I was holidaying in Europe with my husband, and as we were driving, I got a phone call from my dad. He said, I need to talk to Damien. My husband went, quite serious, and he got off the phone and he said, your brother Philip has been involved in an accident and he didn't make it.
And making those phone calls to our parents and our immediate family that he'd been killed in a road crash. Yeah, that was hard. That week following, I personally was still in shock. We had to deal with choosing a coffin.
We used to think we were invincible, and I guess every teenager thinks that when they get their P's, but unfortunately you're not invincible. You go through your stages where you're not doing too well.
There's this one friend, and he told me he wants to visit my parents, but he can't. He parks in front of their house and cannot physically get out of the car. I feel so bad for him because I think your life has changed so dramatically, and it so shouldn't have. I look at my grandparents or my aunties or my cousins or my kids, he'll never know him. I just miss having a normal family. People shouldn't have to experience what we're experiencing, and I think about the person that I used to be and the family that we used to have, and that's just gone now. I just want people to understand that their choices matter and what they do matters, and that one small choice can have lifelong consequences for so many people.